Okay. Thank you.
Let me just make a comment
Yes.
while you're recording as
Yes.
part of the. I believe truly that we have a limited time available on Earth,
Truly.
and with the knowledge and experience that I have, trials and tribulations that I've gone through in medical practice and life, I want to use that to help someone now or in the future. That's why I don't want to waste one moment of my time, of my life, not doing beneficial work to others. So when I'm dead, okay, I live through my thoughts and my wisdom that I pass on to people. That's why I'm so much impressed that we connected with each other, and now we come to this occasion to tape it. Okay.
So it is my pleasure now to formally introduce my Kaka,
Yes.
Dr. Ramesh.
Uh,
He is a practicing cardiologist for more than 44 years in Chicago, Joliet area. And he's visiting us, he's with us, and it is so nice time to talk with him about journey of his life, right from India and to here. And Vinod Bhai, we are really thankful to you also for your initiative in this matter.
no, first of all, I have to thank you for for calling me on Thursday and inviting me to meet with Kaka at your office, and we had a nice meal at the restaurant, and ended up at being Arvind Bhai's place. All through the time, I was thoroughly impressed by Kaka because Kaka has gone through a lot in his life, and a lot of positives have come through that. And his experiences, are really mind-opening. He is coming from India to Chicago and then practicing there, building his family, growing his family, and he was so genuinely talking about it that it really moved me. you know so I thought, that I take little bit of an opportunity to tape this event and of our experience. We truly, like Kaka says, we have short life in the world, and to have something on record so that we can sometimes reflect back on this such beautiful positive experience your Kaka has brought to us.
Thank you very much. And so with that, Kaka, again, we are very happy to have you with us. And in today's program, what we will do is I will ask you a few questions that will direct you to those particular items. And then, of course, we will also have Ushaben join us some point of time today and sing a bhajan. And we are meeting at really auspicious time. And today is Dhanteras, and now will be Diwali in a few days, and a Happy New Year starting also. So thank you. What I'm wondering is, can you first tell me something about beginning of your professional life and till today, beginning of the professional life until you recently retired? Major important milestones and something to learn about and to know about.
I go back to my days in medical school in my final year. Uh, in my final year of medical schooling, uh, I was more interested in learning American way of medical practice. I was very good in my conviction about being an OB/GYN doc physician. So I read postgraduate textbook about OBGYN, and one good-looking medical student that everybody admired suddenly was drawn to me, and she took me to her dorm, which is not allowed, to learn. So we discussed, we talked. She learned OBGYN from my experience. When we took the final exam, uh, I, I, the professor gave me passing grade of 52. So I passed my OBGYN. The medical student who learned from me, she got gold medal. So,
Okay.
so that
So you got 52 and she got gold medal,
right.
the one
So,
who learned from you.
so
Wow.
that kind of a almost harbinger of how the medical education was in India.
Yes.
That was one of the reasons for me to come to America because I knew if I went in postgraduate training there, I'll have a tough time not only to get education, but even in practicing as a specialist. In India, specialists have to kick back some money to the GPs who refer the patient, and it was not acceptable to me in medical practice. So those are the reasons why I was drawn to come to America. But most important thing was my father knew my older brother, and he knew how he handled three children, two boys and a girl, and he was more possessive, somewhat controlling. And my father felt that the kids should have freedom in their thinking and their life, in their maturity, and their own family later on. So he constantly insisted that I bring those three children, his grandchildren, to America, to the freedom. So all this combined, I was determined to come to America. So I
What did your
studied.
father do?
My father was a farmer. He farmed about 6 or 7 acres of land, not enough to support the family, so he rented a farm from some Brahmins. So, and that's how he raised us. And I, in grade school, helped him with the farming. When he was plowing, I would sit on a plow so he can go deeper. When there was a resurfacing of the land, I would sit on a resurfacer and then we resurfaced the whole land. When there was a planting, I'll help him with planting, watering. If there was like uh, the offshoots, the sucker plants to be taken out, I would do that. We used to have parasite plants on the tobacco plant, and you got to take them out so the tobacco grows bigger. So I did all kind of farming in helping my father. And truly speaking, when I was a child, I thought I'll be a farmer. So I was grooming myself to be a farmer.
Mm.
Then when I had education, I wanted to just pass seventh grade in high school and be a revenue clerk.
Mm.
So that way I don't have to farm. That was my dream when I was a child.
Yeah.
When my brother became an engineer, then my competitive spirit told me that I have to do at least equal to my brother or better. So then I was driven to go to high school and then college. And my brother, he passed state examination with number one ranking in the whole state. My father was so impressed that he gave me a laddu fist,
Mm.
and in the
Wow.
village. So I was happy about it. Now, when I received my MBBS degree, I went to the village, Ratanpur, and I told my father that I passed my doctor's degree. Then my father says, "Tell me what MBBS means." I told him Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. He said, "You got 2 degrees.
Wow.
You're better than your brother." Okay? Your brother only had 1 degree in textile, but you have 2 degrees. So now I'm so proud of you that you beat your brother. The reason that was it, my, my brother was a favorite son for my mother. He could not do anything wrong, and I couldn't do anything right.
Mm.
That's how I was treated. But my father, in a kind of a frame of mind of feeling sorry for me and wanted me to succeed, subconsciously to beat my mother's favorite.
Mm.
That's my brother and his own son. He wanted me to succeed in life. So, so when I got it, then he told me, you got to take these three children to America. That's my order. And he gave me their order. And with that, I took ECFMG. I scored high, and I applied to come to Cook County Hospital.
So let me ask you. So when he got first in SSC board, he got a laddu fist.
Yeah.
And you got these 2 degrees MBBS. What fist you got?
Nothing, not a thing.
Well, because I think Dada probably knew that you are going to be a cardiologist, better not to give you a laddu fist, right?
Yeah, it might be in his wisdom because we have a coronary artery disease in the family,
Yeah.
which I was afflicted. My brother was afflicted. My father had a stroke. So maybe in his farmer wisdom,
Yes.
he took care of me.
So interesting. So
Happened when
interesting.
what happened when you came to Cook County?
uh, when I came to Cook County uh, because Cook County was Cook County. So they sent me a contract 2 months after July.
Yeah.
Usually you start a year in July.
Yeah.
So a hospital in New Jersey, New Brunswick Hospital, they send me a contract. I say, we want you, would you come? I say, I have no money. He said, we'll advance you one-way ticket from Bombay to New Brunswick, to JF Kennedy. And you take a cab and we'll pay for the cab fare from New York Airport to all the way to New Brunswick, New Jersey. So I was working, so I went to the Bank of Indian Bank, and I gave them 48 rupees, and they gave me $8. Okay, so $8 in my pocket. I landed at JFK at 3:30 p.m. on 1969, June 30th.
So that reminds me, you came with the $8 in your pocket. Reminds me that famous song, Around the World in $8. Right? Have you heard that?
I heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, so I made a phone call from JFK Airport because you had to go on a booth and the operator will connect you. This is going back 1969. So I made a phone call. I talked to the guy, and she says $2.60. So I gave him $2.60. Gave her $2.60. So now I have $5.40 in my pocket. So I go to New Brunswick, New Jersey, and the resident there, he paid $45 for the airfare, for the cab fare. I was surprised that the cab took me without money in my pocket. I was impressed with the cabbie that he trusted me, that he get paid. Okay. I was impressed with Americans at that time, that he trusted me, that somebody would pay $45 because I had no money.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience I had. So when I landed and the guy gave $45, he said, well, we got to give him some tip. The resident says, do you have any money? So I put my hand in my pocket, all the money, including change, I put him on two hands. He took $4 from my hand, okay, and gave it to the cabbie. So now I had $1.40 in my hand. I was tired. This was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. I went to my room and I just passed out. I went to sleep in my clothes. I did not even change my clothes. So next day morning when I woke up, the intern was waiting downstairs to take me to my first day medical practice at the hospital. So I went at 7:30 in the morning on my first day, July 1st, 1969.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did that one, and because I was shy, I was more English, British English. So and because I was shy and had a low esteem, okay, I spoke very softly.
Yes.
So nurses would come and say, Doctor, you're mumbling. Why don't you speak a little loud? You're talking too fast. Could you slow down a little bit? Because I had a British accent
Yes.
in a way. Okay. So it was a trial and tribulation to really understand American way of speaking and communicating. But in the evening that day, I was having a headache, and a candy striper came to me. She tapped my hand. This is the first time a woman, a girl, touched me.
Oh,
I had goosebumps all over my body. I was so impressed. I was so appreciative that somebody would come and touch me, dark-skinned Indian, not good looking, but she was kind. She said, "Can I give you a couple of aspirins? Can I give you some cup of coffee?" I said, I'll appreciate. She gave me a cup of coffee. I appreciated. And she was, on other days when we pass, we say hi to each other. At that time, the hospital was encouraging the doctors to socialize. So they were giving us tickets to go to local restaurant, vouchers. And I didn't have anybody, so I gave my vouchers to other residents. But what I found out was that they were taking their girlfriends out for dinner, and they were married. So in the evening when I'm done, I'm sitting back and the nurses will come from the floor. They sit on the doctor's lap and they smooch each other while watching TV.
mm,
And I didn't know at that time, but on a weekend, their wives would come over when they're on call and they smooch each other. I
mm.
said, that's not right. It's not. So I stopped giving vouchers. So because I had all the voucher available, I asked the candy striper, okay, that would you go out for? She said, sure. So that was my first date in America. Though it sounds embarrassing to mention, my hormones were up to the sky when I was in the room in the car with her. It was very difficult to control my emotions, sexual emotions, and all this stuff. So I had to make it clear there's no hanky panky.
What is that?
There's no sexual hanky panky. She's okay, no problem. And then we had the best relationship we had together. We went to New York with the candy striper. We had a ball. We climbed the Statue of Liberty and all that stuff, but pure friendship, pure friendship. And I can repeat the relationship to my wife even now, or any friends. It was pure, an American and an Indian accepting each other as friends.
Beautiful.
That was
Beautiful. When did you get to Cook County?
after I begin my training, I received contract from Cook County that you're accepted as intern. I told them I already in America. Would you consider me for my residency? So they say yes. So they sent me a contract to be a resident in internal medicine from 1970 to 1972, July, 2 years contract. So I was set to come to Cook County Hospital. So one last week, my hospital allowed me to come or travel to Chicago 1 week before I was to start in July. Now, the residents were changing at that time from service. So one of the guys said, could you cover me? And I was not started yet.
Mm.
So I went and I was making rounds and I saw a black patient, okay? And he was not happy.
Mm.
And he was saying, shit, shit, okay?
Mm.
I didn't know what that meant. I was in America for 1 year. I did not know what that meant.
Mhm.
So I asked the nurse, I say, you know what, this gentleman wants something. What, could you give him what he wants? And she just laughed. He said, "You don't know?" I said, "I don't know what that means." He said, "He's saying poop." I
Yeah.
said, "Now I understand." That's the first time I've heard a word which I never heard before for a whole year. That's how I started my first day at Cook County Hospital.
Yes. It's
So
one
now,
of the busiest emergency rooms in US.
I work in also emergency room as part of my rotation,
Yes.
and we used to see uh, people brought in who are fighting. One fight the other one, and both are injured. Okay, and then they're on a stretcher in the same room,
Yes.
and they're talking to each other with F language and all kinds of language. Okay,
Yes.
so it was hilarious to watch two enemies, so to say,
Yes.
okay, fight there right in the emergency room, and they're still bleeding from injuries to each other.
So
At that time,
you trained for how long there?
I did my 2 years internal medicine residence. See
Mm.
there, I had experiences that you would not believe. Okay, and then I had residency in cardiology for three
Yeah.
years. I had
Okay.
2 years required training, but my teacher, he was white American,
Yes.
very nice guy, good bedside manner, but very hot tempered.
Yes.
Nobody liked him because of his temper.
Yes.
He was so angry as a professor, he would punch a hole in the wall by fisting or break a glass. As a matter of fact, when I was doing cardiac cath and learning from my teacher, other attending physician, he was doing research in cardiac outputs. So he asked me to do something that was not part of the regular care. And this, he was a director, so he got upset and he shut the power off. He shut the whole electric power off my cath lab. He said, "I'm
oh,
not going to turn it on. You have catheters in the heart, you take them out."
oh, really?
So that kind of teacher that there was, who some for whatever reason took a liking for me.
Oh,
He says,
That's
"Patel."
very, very, very risky for other
Oh
patients.
yeah, but that's because he did the my teacher, the resident attending, did something which was not part of a director's order. He was a
Mm,
director,
mm,
and what we did at Cook County was it was part of my job. Every ACC meeting or American Heart meeting to produce abstract in some research.
mm.
It was part of my job to do that. We wrote a lot of abstracts in American Federation of Clinical Science, ACCs. So we had about 30 or 40 abstracts that we wrote. This is various expenses. He asked me to do a study on mitral valve prolapse. We collected maybe about 200 cases, and we studied every aspect of prolapse, including the movement of the heart sound in relation to changing the position, tilt up or tilt down. And I wrote a
sorry to
paper,
interrupt you.
published
Sorry
in
to
British.
interrupt you. From what I hear, if you're trained at Cook County Hospital, you can practice anywhere in the world. It's one of the toughest and hardest, and you get some of the best education in medicine. So it looks like you'd be very fortunate you did.
Yeah. Well, after my training, just to make a mention, I went to a small town or maybe town, and we started a cardiology program. But I told all internists who referred patients to me for cardiac problem, I say, any medical problem that you have, internal medicine problem, and you can't handle it, let me know. So
So
I
you
would
say,
I did spinal taps, okay, on patients as a cardiologist. I did thoracentesis, I did arthrocentesis, I did all the stuff that I did at Cook County Hospital.
Wow.
it is becoming very interesting already, Kaka. It's really, and I know one more interesting thing that probably happened in Cook County is coming. But before we go to that more interesting thing, maybe I will like to request Usha Ben if she can give us a good song or a bhajan now. And if you are ready, we can do it now, or we can do it whenever you are ready. Usha Ben.
Usha, you ready?
Yeah, I have to just get it from the system. Hold on, I just turn this on.
Meanwhile, it is so interesting to hear your life history and this thing. And during this time at Cook County, did you meet any Indians in the local area or anything, or had any connections with India, or you were just very much in the with the Caucasian population?
Well, at Cook County, we had some residents who were of Indian origin. Now, and we were given a dorm that I lived in. So a dorm supplied food, laundry, everything else. But then some of us got tired of eating the same American food.
Yes.
So, so they would want to have home cooked meal.
Yeah.
And I was good at cooking. So we had hot plates and all those things in my room. So I would cook chicken curries and different stuff for all these people to come and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And there were six. There were people from Gujarat,
Mm.
from all over the country as residents, and they came down for a feast.
Yes.
So we had a good time while we were in the dorm. Uh, one of them was a Sikh. He was a pediatric resident, and we had a good time. And one day when I was interviewing in Joliet for my position, okay, I saw this person in dress, okay, with long hair, but that was a Sikh turned into a woman.
Mm.
So we saw each other, we looked at each other, we didn't say nothing during that interview passage going back in 1987.
Mm.
So then we introduced each other,
Mm.
and he was a pediatrician, but became she.
Yeah.
Interesting
So
part
he
was,
became he was a transvestite.
yeah. Mhm. But
Wonderful.
interesting part was though, uh, he he liked my expertise in
Yes.
internal medicine and cardiology. So he had me see her mother-in-law who came to see me.
Okay.
Then I took care of her, and then finally she brought her husband to me.
Yes.
So I took care of the husband who had all kinds of issues, mostly anxiety related to interacting with her as a woman, but still man. So it was a fascinating experience
Phenomenal.
firsthand of
It's
a person that you
yeah, it's so early in those days. Like those acceptances were not common, but here in US now it's pretty common, very common. Let me give it to Usha,
see at that.
and let me give it to Usha she's ready for a song. I'll adjust the mic.
Yeah, hello. Kem cho bata machama? Good to see you again, huh?
મજામાં.
Yeah, I'll sing you a bhajan now, huh? Start with that. Huh? બોલું, બરાબર છે ધ્યાન? Yeah, they change કરવું જ બધા. વોલ્યુમ બરાબર છે?
इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम न सोचे हमें क्या मिला है, हम ये सोचे किया क्या है अर्पण। फूल खुशियों के बाटे सभी को, सबका जीवन ही बन जाए मधुबन। ओ अपनी करुणा का बहा दे, करके पावन हर एक मन का कोना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was very calming, soothing sound. Just beautiful, beautiful voice that you have.
Thank you. And you chose the bhajan so perfect for the day. I was just, thinking about the words. Itni Shakti Hame Dena Data. It matches with so much the story that Kaka so far told us. Man ka vishwas kam na ho na pata. When you come from a remote village in India to a metropolitan city in New York with $8 in your pocket, it is only Data, it is only Bhagwan who can give you the vishwas to become successful. So
That's
very appropriate words and song and bhajan you saw today. So with that, Vinod Bhai, please.
Um, yeah, but truly, like Kaka's journey is so far is so interesting. Kaka, can you tell us now? Is that the time you got married?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. And again, I know myself because I have low self-esteem. I had very poor ego. Was not going, was no, not getting me anything when I was in India. I can use ego, I can cry, I can shout, but nobody was going to give me anything. I had low self-esteem because I grew up that way. So, as part of necessity of life, in in 1971 December time, after talking to my brother, I made a trip to go to India looking for a bride as Indian customs. So he had announced my arrival, my particulars in newspapers. So he received some information of some girls. So I went to India basically to get married. Uh, I saw two girls in Bombay at my uncle's house. One was CPA and one was a dentist. Okay. But I was not in the mood yet to select anyone. So I talked to them. They were nice girls, and I went to Ahmedabad. And my brother had one girl in mind, and and when I went to Ahmedabad, he said that girl was spoken for, was taken away by some visiting uh, person, and they got engaged. So I had no prospective candidates for 2 weeks. On the third week, uh, there was a doctor who had finished her training, and she was a candidate for me. So we went on a kind of trip to Abu, and we talked to each other, and seems like our chemistry was working. We worked. I liked her. She liked me. We came back, and I told my brother and my father that we made a decision to get married.
Mm.
So my father had just come from village, and she came to my house, to my brother's house. She walked by and walked out, just casually. After she left, my father said, "No way you're going to marry her. She's not right for you. If you marry her, I'll disown you.
Mm.
I'll disown you." So now I have no self-esteem. Girl decided to get married, and now my father was putting kibosh on my plan.
Mm.
I was not happy. So I talked to the girl. I said, no matter what my father says, I'll come back and I marry you. And my father knew that I was doing this thing behind his back. He's a
Mhm.
smart guy. I respected him. So he insisted that I don't get married. My friend Jagdish stepped in. He's my best friend that I have for many years. And there's a long story about it. So he said, "You're not going to get married now anyway, so why don't you tell your dad you're not going to get married now, and then come back 6 months, a year later, and I'll fix it. I'll take care of him." So with that understanding, I say, "Okay, Dad, I'm not going to get married, and I'm going to leave." So then we talked about some kind of engagement. Her father came back and said, "No, this is Indian culture, uh, Patel culture, and we don't trust you or trust anybody to keep up the engagement. Very likely you may break the engagement. If you break the engagement, my daughter, that was stepdaughter, his stepdaughter, would not have any good prospects. She'll be rejected candidate. So no engagement. If you want to do something, get married and that's it. Otherwise, nothing to it." So with that thought in mind, with that discussion in mind, I left. Came back to America, very dejected, very depressed. My promised residency to cardiology suddenly was denied by a white guy who became the director of my program. So he denied me the the promised fellowship for cardiology. So I had double whammy. I was down, I was depressed, I lost weight, and I just didn't like myself. So with that thought in mind, with depression, I focused on medical care. I was almost driven day and night to help my patients. And in Cook County, you can spend as much time as you want to. There's no limit.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time with people, and one of them was a drug addict. He had heart infection, endocarditis, and I was the only one who can start an IV on him because all the veins that he had were used up for using drugs.
Mm.
So, and he was a very bright guy. He had killed 22 people. He was an enforcer in collecting money for syndicate, drug syndicate. This is going back in 1972. So this girl would start collect all the information that I had seen her earlier one time at in on July 9th, 1972 at 3:30 p.m. I'd seen her coming from hallway, blue-eyed, dark hair, tanned, most gorgeous woman that you ever see in your lifetime.
Mm.
We crossed eyes, and I said, "Sonak, what a specimen." Okay, she was good, but she was beyond my pale because I was not good looking for her. She was pretty, and so I admire her almost succinctly without letting her know.
Mm.
So she was a nurse who was helping me with IVs on this drug addict. She settled everything. I was start an IV, and after about 5, 6 IVs, and he told me about the story about killing people and all that stuff. He was an enforcer. I would go in a gambling area where people are gambling. People owe money. I blow I blow people off the table. I shoot them. I kill them. And I take the money from the table. That's how. And then my syndicate would send me away to Chicago, up to Miami or Hawaii. I spent 6 months there, and that's it. I come back. So he says, doctor, this nurse likes you.
Oh, the patient told you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The nurse, the drug addict told me, this nurse likes you, okay? And she likes White Sox. So I'll buy you a ticket to take her to White Sox game. I said, but she's too good looking for me. He said, you can ask. I was still scared because I didn't want to be rejected. Okay.
So he
So-
was your matchmaker.
He was one of them. And then there was another patient with COPD, on a respirator, and he woke up and then took the respirator off, and my wife would take care, the girl would take care of him, and she was so nice to him. He called her his daughter. He was a black guy.
Mm.
He said, "This is my daughter." So one day I go to him. I said, "Willie," his name was Willie, uh, Willie Huskin. Uh, he says, could I ask your daughter to go out with me? Would she go out? Would you ask her for me? Because I was scared, okay, not to be rejected. So after a couple of visits, I asked him, I said, would she go out? Yeah, go ahead, ask her. So after 2 approvals, I was sitting across and I asked Kathy, would you go out for coffee with me? And we had a restaurant right across Cook County Hospital called Dungeon. It was a Greek restaurant. It was a dark place, but we all hung out in the evening. After work, we go have a couple of beers. People come down. The nurses come over. The doctors hang out with each other. Okay, so that Dungeon, we went for a cup of coffee, and for whatever reason, she liked me. And then because she worked 3 to 11 shift, and she was very caring nurse. She would carry on till 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock to finish her work. And I would stay awake, waiting for her to finish. And then we go out for a hamburger, White Castle.
Okay.
And I was cheap Indian, okay? I didn't want to spend too much money.
Yes.
So those were my dates to take out for White Castles or something like that.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. And so that became came into a relationship that
That's how we started.
you have 4 children, I hear.
Five children.
5 children.
I tell my wife has 5 children.
Okay.
It was easy for me to make them, but it's difficult for her to bear them and deliver them.
Oh, that's so nice. So it's a beautiful story. It's very intriguing to see, like you going to India, getting married, trying to get married in a traditional way, and didn't work out, and you came back, and your life began to mold at Cook County, and with friends and patients who almost helped you through this process,
I think
because you were working most of the time, so that was your environment. Moving on, so you started practicing cardiology, and you, from our conversation, you have developed a unique kind of practice
yes,
and a unique following of patients,
yes.
And sorry to also interrupt, your niece is in the background, and she's hearing everything about your personal and private stories that you probably may have not talked about it, but it's so interesting to know, really, what you've gone through as an Indian from India. Today, with the communication, they know exactly what you ate. this afternoon or this evening in India, then there was no communication. They didn't know where you were. Or you probably called them every few months or every few weeks. The phone calls are very expensive to call. So mostly writing letters, in that context.
To complement, just to let you know, when I came to this country, my niece was little girl, okay, going to Mount Carmel High School
In Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad. And even my other nephew, Janaka and Sami, they were babies.
Yes.
Those images stayed in my mind as little girl. So when I she was trying to take me out, and she pulled out the car, which was Tesla. Okay, and she says, "Uncle, sit in the front."
Yes.
I'm sitting in the front, and I go back to my visual memory of the childhood, and this little girl, okay, she was a skinny little girl going to Mount Carmel with a dress that she usually wears, Carmel dress, and now she's driving this $120,000 worth Tesla.
Yes.
Totally, I was blown away. That scenario, that scene, I was blown away. I told Kiran, her husband, I said, take a picture. Okay, this is, I want to store in my memory till I die. How how well this little girl has done coming to this country.
Oh, she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, and very, very bright, very thorough. And, we've all been very, very proud of her.
She's done very well.
Yeah. So you practiced and your unique practice. Tell us more about it.
Yeah.
Cardiology.
Well, yeah. When I started my practice, as I mentioned, and again, there is a story how I started my practice
Yeah.
because I applied for a director's position at the hospital. They won't start a cardiology program to come to the current level. So I applied for it, but my skin was too dark. So, and I already had my board certifications, and I was attending physician at Cook County Hospital, teaching both services. I had two services, internal medicine service and a cardiology service. So I teach residents internal medicine in the morning, and the afternoon we make consultation rounds. In between, if there's a cath to be done by the resident, I will supervise them. So that's how I was doing at that point. So when I applied for the position, I was not taken, and but during that interview, as a part of the process, they took me to a tumor board meeting.
Yes.
A tumor board meeting, and they presented a case with a tumor in the lungs. And oncologists and all people decided to give radiation to this person because it was cancer, the diagnosis. After the meeting was over, in a lunch kind of line, the medical director asked me a question. What do you think about this, Patel? I said, this is pneumonia. You give this patient radiation, you kill him.
Yeah.
You cannot give radiation or any cancer treatment to anybody unless you have tissue diagnosis. If you can't diagnose by tissue, send them out somewhere else. There is a better center somewhere. So with that discussion, I left. So I was told that I was not selected. In February 1978, this doctor called me up. He said, Dr. Patel, I saw your book, I saw your credentials, I saw your application, and I want you in my building. I said, but I don't have any money, I don't have any partnership. I said, anything you need, patient, nurse, uh, a room, pencil, paper, telephone, I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything. I said, what's the catch? He said, nothing. You'll work for 6 months, if you
Can
don't
you
mind.
hold?
Yeah, go ahead.
અરવિંદભાઈ, તમે ઝૂમ ઉપર આવી શકો એમ છો? So if you want me to send you, we're going to continue for next about 20 minutes if you want to. Okay, so what you do is Kiran Bhai will send you the link. Okay, we'll forward you the link.
In the email, right?
He is going to email you, forward you the email. All right. And you can, come on, take care. Yeah, Arvind Bhai is driving somewhere, and so he'll probably join us, Kaka, you got very lucky. You were a very bright physician, and you got recognized by this person, and then you practiced for so many years and you built a practice. And, at the end of your practice, you also, like yesterday, you told us that you trained in Reiki. And so you develop certain psychological skills and some paranormal skills in treating patients. Because one thing is that you're a very devout, thorough person, armed with very thorough knowledge of medicine and having compassion for your patient to the nth degree. So tell us about that experience in your life, Go ahead.
Okay. Well, after I started my practice, I went through trials and tribulations, prejudices, obstructions by people who challenged me. And I used those challenges as a learning experience, not as somebody trying to put you down and doing to you. I used that as a learning experience. So one thing I decided to do is I had the ability to organize. So I organized cardiac program at my hospital. Then we developed open heart surgical program at my hospital. But by this time, a larger group came in, or where they built up, and they wanted to have a surgeon under their control, open heart surgeon. And they got a guy like that, and they brought him against my best judgment because he was not good for my medical center. Because my way of dealing with patients is to be there in operating room, comfort them before they go under anesthesia, see them after they wake up from anesthesia, and let them know that I'm there to care for them. So that way they go to sleep with comfort, with the doctor at the bedside, and they wake up with the comfort with the doctor at the bedside. And that I did for not only open heart cases, but other surgeries such as gallbladder surgeries, hysterectomies, cancer surgeries, and all.
Mm.
And every cancer patient that I had, I would go in the operating room and feel the cancer tissue. I feel the texture of the organ that's taken out. So and then I relate that one. I related
Yes,
that.
Dr. Mehta is online too, and you can see him driving.
I see him. Yeah.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yes,
Very carefully.
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, so we'll keep you on mute while doctor is telling us his story.
Okay, good.
So that's how I trained myself and also learned from my patients. So that was a style of care I was developing, personalized care. Still, there was something missing. And things added up after I had a heart attack because the heart attack that I had was very educational
Mhm.
and wisdom developing.
And what year did you get a heart attack?
I had a heart attack in 1994
Okay.
in March, uh, Sunday evening, that Sunday evening, second week, I had a nice lobster dinner.
Okay.
And after the lobster dinner, at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I went home to the hotel, went to the hotel. I was sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up
Hmm.
with chest pain. And dealing with patients with chest pain and heart attack, I knew what I had. But foolishly, I asked my wife, I have heartburn, so give me Provocet. Okay. But at the same time, I say, you know what? This
Let
is
me,
not
let me, doctor, let me stop you here. I think we want to hear more about your experiences as with utilizing Reiki as a modality of treatment.
Reiki is a treatment. Right. That's
Yes.
what you
Yeah.
so, see that developed after my heart attack.
Okay.
They changed my personality, my personality.
Okay.
My mind was operating at one stage by influencing factors such as ego, vasanas, like prejudices, biases, and some religious convictions, along with gunas, which are righteousness, controlling thing, and ignorance. Those are the gunas that we have. So after that, I experienced, I allowed those factors not to influence my mind's performance.
Yeah.
At that time, I learned that there is a soul. And the soul is the controller of your body. It
Yeah.
has a mission and it dictates what life you should live and what body, how the body to use to realize the potential. That was a transformational revelation to me. When that happened, when I let go of all other influencing factors, I believe my natural ability to heal through my my soul was revealed to me by God.
Hmm.
And when I got educated about what Reiki is all about by a master,
Yes.
I learned how to transfer my healing energy to
So
see.
did you go through formal training of Reiki?
Yes, I did. Yes.
How long?
It was because I want to learn, at this time I want to learn Reiki. So, and one of the person in the hospital, in the neighborhood, who was the wife of one of my patients, he was a doctor, she said, this lady is coming to teach Reiki, you want to learn. Because I want to learn, it used to be about $5,000 or $6,000 to learn this Reiki.
Hmm.
They were not giving it away because this is old Tibetan healing system from Tibet. And Japanese adopted that. And Japanese kept it secret in Japan, except when the Japanese came to Hawaii, okay, they brought the system there. And they were practicing there, but still would not teach mainland people. It cost a lot of money. So they kept it secret. And some people learned, they paid for it. So this teacher came and she initiated me in Reiki 1. Reiki 1 is a treatment you give by hand, by touching. Then, because I was a physician, okay, she asked me to give the records of all the patients I see and without knowledge or slight approval, treat them.
Hmm.
So I started treating them. And then patients who came to my office, I treated them. And then when they went to my secretary to make a next appointment. He said, how did the doctor know my hip was hurting? My pain is gone.
Hmm.
They would tell my office girls that there was something which was hurting, it's gone.
Hmm.
And they even did not know that I was treating them. Because in the goodwill as a physician, what I did was I received the patients in my room.
You trained for how long?
It was about 1 day training.
How long?
1 day training.
1 day training in Reiki.
In Reiki. So then, because I collected all the experiences, so next time, maybe 2-3 months later, she came back. He said, are you ready for Reiki 2? I said, what is Reiki 2? Reiki 2 is healing somebody remotely. So you know a person, he's suffering, he make a phone call, talk to you, and you treat them. Or my girls, my granddaughters playing baseball, they get twisted arm to say they're hurting, okay? Or there other girls who are playing basketball and they have injury. I started treating them without their knowledge as a part. So that's the Reiki 2.
Okay. And then
The remote. And then after that experience came along, then she came for third time. I said, now you want to learn Reiki by intuition without seeing patient or knowing about it.
okay.
She gave me that treatment. She initiated me. And part of the initiation, she challenged me on the same day. She said, I see there's a child in Alaska and he's sick. See what you see. So I mentioned that this is a little child. He had heart surgery, had a hole in the heart, and they fixed it. And now he has bronchitis or something like that. I said, how do you know all this stuff? I said, you asked me a question. And that's what came to me. So then one of the students with me, my colleague, she said, you're too smart. Tell me there's a guy in Detroit and he has a problem. Okay. I said, he is about 210 pounds, round chest, beard, he has shortness of breath, his lips are blue, okay? His legs are swollen. How do you know all this stuff? I said, you asked me a question, and this person appeared in me. That's my brother. She said, that's my brother. The student is telling
So, you know, these are supernatural phenomena in skills.
I don't know.
And so you know, like you know, you practice cardiology, which is mostly evidence-based medicine, and now you also practice Reiki within your practice. Sometimes
It's a complementary.
it's a complementary practice to what you were doing, because this is like you are a unique physician, you know. You know, we with ability to treat somebody in distant lands, very distant from you. You don't even have to use any kind of gadgets or anything. It's just your thinking, and you could get an idea of the diagnosis of the other person. So this is, you know, you are one in a million that I would know of, you know.
Well,
You know, like
it's a gift that we all have. And as you know, in routine practice,
yeah,
a child crying, okay, hurt, injured, okay, cries for hours,
yeah,
but in mom's lap in 3 minutes, 2 minutes,
yeah.
child is calmed down, relaxed, and goes out and plays in 3 minutes.
Yes,
Why? Because the mothers do the Reiki to their children
yes.
all the time, and we don't even know about it. Okay, they feel great.
So nice.
They come down, they put your hand on your shoulder, and everything goes away.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You go
I'm
to
going to
a
ask Urban Bhai, can you open your mic and ask any questions if you need to? at this point?
For me? No. Arvind.
Arvind, I will ask a question, or if they want to say anything. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm driving, so I'm not that focused, but I can tell you, first thing, we had a great night that night, evenings. It's amazing. And it was quite a humorous, and also I was much taken away with the knowledge what you have, and which you have put it in your life. Like especially when you told me that your grandson was there on your lap and you felt like heavenly. And don't I feel the same way? And don't we feel the same way? And so does the winner feel the same way? So I love that. So you have a tremendous spiritual. I think I would be calling you more of the spiritual cardiologist than anything. Second thing, the Reiki. I have done the Reiki also, but I did not follow up on that. But I applied the Reiki on myself. And that particular Reiki, that the way I was taught is how to get rid of a negative energy and how to change it and convert it into positive. And we are talking about affirmative. So every day I do that things, every time there is a negative, this is very consistent. So every day I do it, and then it has got a tremendous effect on me, and I'm extremely happy. And thanks to Ricky. But what you have done is you're going beyond that. You started treating your patients, your families, friends, and all. It was extremely nice. It was fantastic what you have done so far. And of course, that day we were kind of humorous, so I didn't know this part of it. So we have a lot of gratitude about what you have been doing at this young age, man. So keep it up. I don't have anything else to say.
Well,
So really, thank you, Arvind. You are driving, still you made it a point to join us. That's great, and good for your comments as well. And please drive carefully. And in the interest of the time, we are already like 1:07 p.m. now. So and with Kaka, we can probably go on for weeks and months and so forth. So in the interest of the time, I would suggest that maybe if Ushavan is going to sing one more song, and then we can conclude, and then hopefully in future we can connect again. Yes, Arvind bhai, go
Well,
ahead.
I want to say one thing. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have a friend like Kiran and Vinod. Every person, they are my like a guru. They're extremely very positive, vibrant. They are very, very knowledgeable. I gain a lot of energy from them also. And these are the kind of the people that I associate with. And now Kiran has introduced me to you, the great personality, being besides the cardiologist, the great Reiki master, and I go to you. That's about it. I just appreciate everything.
Thank you, Arvind bhai. It's so nice to see you connecting us from your car and driving and taking this time. We're going to end the session with me and Usha singing one last song for Uncle. Really a very esteemed uncle, and we're so proud of you. And thank you, Kiran bhai. And so Hema ben,
Yeah.
તમારે લીધે આ બધું થયું છે. તમે ના હોતા ને તો કિરણભાઈ ના હોતા અમારી લાઈફમાં. એટલે આ મોટામાં મોટી વસ્તુ છે.
કાકા એમ કર્યું તો હેમા અહીંયા ના હોતે.
Well,
for us, so we are here because of him. So I have to thank to him.
ના બટ તમારી વાત છે કે તમે જો ન હોત તો આ થેન્ક કરવાની એ વાત નથી. હતા જ નહીં કોઈ, હોવાની જ વાત નહોતી.
અમારે હેમા છે ને, હેમા અમારા એક રત્ન છે. she has so many virtues in her life, and I really absorb her. And Kiran thinks he's a big guy, but Emma is all because of Emma. Let me tell you that.
Truly,
Emma,
truly, truly, આ બધું છે હેમાને હિસાબે. અને જે તમે વાત કરી ને કે આ છોકરી નાની હતી ને ટેસ્લા ચલાવતી થઈ, ટેસ્લા તો નાની વસ્તુ છે. અમે જો હેમાને જોઈએ ને તો આ મોટે, યુ નો, લાઈક શી ઇઝ વન ઓફ ધ brightest and very sharp and a very, very, very hard working and a very thorough at her heart. You know?
The only thing I see, okay, is a little girl in the village, up in the city, that she grew up in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And she is so well. That little girl image would never go away from my mind, who my father ordered me to bring to this country.
Yeah.
She has done so well. I'm so proud, okay, that I kept my word to my father, and they're here. Great.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. With this thing, I will start this small song.
Okay.
And then Usha will join, okay? And it's about life. Is the sound coming through?
Yes.
So nice.
Okay.
जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। है ये कैसी डगर, चलते हैं सब मगर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं।
So nice to see Dr. Ramesh Patel. You added something to our life.
जिंदगी को बहुत प्यार हमने दिया, मौत से भी मोहब्बत निभाएंगे हम, रोते
फिसलते ज़माने से जाएंगे हम।
जाएंगे पर किधर है किसे ये खबर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं।
You know, Usha lost a cousin just yesterday.
जीवन भी है जो जिए ही नहीं, जिनको जीने से पहले ही मौत आ गई, तो फूल भी है जो जिए ही नहीं, जिनको खिलने से पहले फिजा खा गई। है परेशान नजर, थक गए चार घर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं।
Beautiful, beautiful. That's how the suffer is.
Yes, you know, the last stanza, you know, just reminded us. Usha just lost her cousin, her first son in England. He was 50-year-old. We just learned he was in hospice when we were eating dinner, and we just got the news that he's passed away, you know. So tomorrow we'll be kind of catching up with the family and stuff, you know. So beautiful, and I will have Dr. Kiran Bhai wind down the session and, you know, say the last few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Of course, Dr. Vinod Bhai and Ushaben, you are always the force, the real force for this kind of successful and very pleasant activities you have initiated. And Arvind Bhai, thank you for joining. We always enjoy your company and comments. And of course, uh, what can I say for Kaka? Kaka provided us all the detailed comments, his unique life experiences from his professional and personal life. A lot of things that even I came to know today for the first time. It's amazing. Hema, also thank you for joining. And with that, thank you, Ushaban, again for both nice songs and bhajan. We hope to continue this sometime in future. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Arvind.
Yep, thanks. Bye-bye.